partito. Sì, penso partito, giusto?
Yes. Arriverà anche qua.
Ok, we are live in Facebook.
Ecco.
Adesso faccio anche registrazione, fai tu?
Faccio io partire.
Faccio, giusto.
Buono.
Hello, dear partners, dear friends. Tonight's webinar will be done in English. It will explain about Solargroup project, Motors. And we are joined tonight by our national partner in India, Mr. Birti Gulshan Kumar.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much, Dimitri.
Yes.
For invite me in Solargroup webinar, and thank you very much, Ravindra Kumar.
And Mr. Ravindra Kumar is our coordinator in South Africa. Hello, Ravindra.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good evening. How are you today?
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I'm good. So let's start. Yeah.
Yeah, you can start with the presentation today in English.
Okay. My name is Dmitry Maximenko. I'm a curator of national partner of Solargroup in India. And tonight we'll talk about 3 topics. About the project Duinov's Motors. We'll explain about the origination of this project. Secondly, we'll explain about technical details of the project. We'll talk about induction motors, their distribution and application in the world today. And thirdly, we'll talk about financial aspect. So about the investment project started by Solargroup Limited and how it's connected with Duinov company and Sovelmash company in Russia, and how we develop this project throughout all the world nowadays. So induction motors, let's talk about induction motors and their place right now in the world. Our life, we use induction motors in all the aspects of life. In industry, in agriculture, we use it electric transport, in domestic applications. There are various types of electrical motors. So about 80% of the electric motors in the world are induction motors. Induction electric motors are so important that it's induction electric motors have gained very widespread due to its design, efficiency, durability, and possibility to apply in various fields. Okay, just let me share the screen. Now you can see, right? Okay. As you can see, there are many different applications of the induction motors in machinery, in production, in electric transport, which we can use in cars, electric bicycles, electric motorcycles, in household appliances, and different motors we use in our home, even in construction equipment and in military machinery, as well as aviation. So very different sectors that use induction motors, induction electric motors. There are more than 10,000 different types of induction motors right now. And each year, annually, they're produced more than 7 billion induction motors, which need also maintenance, repair, and as much as 60% of world electrical energy is consumed by induction electric motors. If we take all the amount of induction motors in the world, we can calculate that each inhabitant in our planet estimates for approximately 11 induction motors. So there are really a lot of such motors in the world right now in all the industry, even in your home, even in your mobile phone, even in your computer, and so on. So they're really widespread product. Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov is a Russian developer, and he's a technical engineer who developed the combined winding technology called Slavyanka. He was one of the founders from 2011, one of the founders and in the research and production enterprise called AS&PP in Russia. He and his partner started this company several years ago in order to develop this technology further and to compare different types of motors and to bring to the world the newly developed and patented technology so that different sectors of economy can use. And he also successfully showed to all the world that comparing to normal magnet motors, his Slavyanka technology motors are much more powerful and less in price comparing to competitors. So what has Dmitry Duyunov offered? Actually, he offered the combined winding technology Slavyanka. So it's a combination of two technologies, two windings, delta winding and star winding. Using this combination, it's possible to reach several benefits, several advantages in the motor. It gives more power output. It does not use magnets as normal BLDC motor from China, for example. Without this magnet, it makes it less pricey, so it costs much less for production. And one of the advantages is that it's really much lighter, so the weight is much less. The dimension is less, is more compact, and the weight is less, so its costs is less, and the production output is more. So it has a big advantage comparing to normal BLDC motors. Which are the main advantages of the technology? Right now, we can say that with our technology, we can save up to 40%, from 20 actually to 40% of electrical energy. In this case, we reduce production cost by 30%, and the so-called improved service factor is 2.5, which means that the motor can be serviced successfully in the service shop, in the workshop of the production unit, or later during maintenance, during the usage of this motor. And actually, what Dmitry Duyunov is saying, that you can find spare parts in case something happens with the motor in any shop, so it's not difficult to replace a spare part in this motor or replace any part of the controller unit or any part of our equipment. As you know, nowadays one of the world's problem is pollution, and actually a lot of factories, they're using non-renewable energy for power plants. So it harms the global environment, people's health, and future generations on a daily basis. As you know, the sulfur and nitrogen oxides, fly ash, solid contaminants, and combustion byproducts are the products of these power plants. So they negatively impact the environment, leading to escalation of the greenhouse effect, which changes the climate to the worst, increases the ozone hole, and contributes to overall pollution. So we breathe the air, and also it contaminates soil and contaminates water. That's why it's not so much important nowadays to build new power plants, but it's much more important nowadays for the companies all over the world. They are now trying to reduce the energy consumption of already existing plants, of already existing equipment and production units, because by decreasing the the consumption of energy, we can really contribute to decrease the pollution all over the world. What does Slavyanka technology offer? It offers a energy efficiency class IE3 and IE4 motors. So it means that there are 4 classes: IE1, IE2, IE3, and IE4. So what Solargroup company developed is the motor with the most advanced efficiency class, IE3 and IE4, which can solve one of the main global environmental issues, because it has much greater capacity in terms of power and in terms of its compact. So it has advantages compared to old standard motors IE1 and IE2 currently used. Company Sovelmash, as well as our partner company ASNPP in Russia, have developed this technology and have obtained a lot of patents. Right now, more than 17 patents have been obtained in Russia. It's available through our website, solargroup.pro, as well as on the website of sovelmash.ru. These patents you can also check via the official registry in the Russian Federation. So you can double check that these patents are really existing. They have been issued and they are working. They are valid today. So these patents have been issued for motors, for the technology of the combined winding, and for some other products of the company. It means that company already increases year by year its intellectual property. Several institutes throughout the world, for example, Düsseldorf Institute, University in Germany, tested our motors. University in Bologna in Italy tested our motors, and Russian University in Belgorod tested our motors. Both 3 establishments have released the test results, and these test results are also available on the website, solargroup.pro, which saying that they're energy efficient and they're successfully passed all the tests necessary for such type of motors. So we have independent third-party confirmation that these motors are working. They have a good capacity, good power capacity. Also, the company has more than 100 licensed winding specialists. What does it mean? That the Solargroup company has already signed agreements, and ASPP company already signed agreements with individual company in Russia and abroad to modernize motors or to produce new combined winding motors or engines using Slavyanka technology. This means for each of these contracts, the company already is earning some income. And the more the technology, new technology or new motors will be developed, the more contracts can be signed with new licensees throughout the world. So we can all benefit from the revenue deriving from this activity as well. And also among our investors, among our partners, if you're interested, if you are in engineering company, you can use the license, you can get the agreement with the Sovelmash. Just you can contact via website Sovelmash or our website solargroup.pro to understand how if your country has already representative or how you can sign this agreement with the company. Many different prototypes have also used our technology and our Duyunov motor. First electric car Zeta was equipped with hub motor from Duyunov. ZAZ car, which was equipped, this is an old 60s style car originally from Soviet Union, used our motor and participated in Monte Carlo rally. Then one of the trolleybus used the technology, as well as mining, locomotive, and electric bicycle also used this motor. And the generator with a Slavyanka winding was used even for Kamaz Master sports team. And even for such application as for wheelchairs, hub motor was used as well. So you can see a lot of different range of applications. It's possible. As I explained, one of the motor types based on technology is Duyunov's hub motor. Duyunov's hub motor is a motor integrated into the wheel. So once it's operating, it produces additional power. It can be used in combination with the physical power, which used, for example, in bicycles, or it can operate independently. It has three main advantages. First, the power is much better than comparing to such solutions based on BLDC motors from China, for example. Secondly, it costs less. And thirdly, it's more reliable. So all the parts can be serviced without problems. It has one of the things which actually is different in this motor, in this technology, is that it does not have magnets. So the hub motors doesn't use magnets. What does it mean? That it does not use rare earth minerals, which 95% of these minerals come from China. So the market is a little bit manipulated, let's say, or price is driven by the Chinese main Chinese companies who are operating in this market. In our case, we don't have such dependency. So in our case, we can successfully produce a hub motor without use of magnets. So we're not dependent on the price rise of the BLDC, for example, magnets, which are used in normal BLDC motor. This is the price advantage. One of the application you can see is a hub motor used installed into electric bicycle, which was successfully demonstrated during our various meetings and conferences in Moscow, and it has been demonstrated by our partner in China, by company ASPP, by Mr. Viktor Arestov. Other application is in electric scooter. It's also using hub motor with Slavyanka technology. Here you can see the first electric car Zeta, which used our technology on a test basis. Here you can see electric motor used by Renault Twizy, which was also demonstrated last year in Moscow, and Renault Kangoo. Yeah, by the way, I see you. Please, for any questions, write to us in chat, so we can discuss your questions a little bit later. And here you can see installed on public transport in Ukraine, which has a Slavyanka electric motor, which gave it more dynamicity and much more power efficient than before. And electric locomotive is also using, while using our motor, it became 2 times more powerful than before. Mass production. We are already very close to mass production for our Russian company Sovolmash. We are right now in preparation stage, but our partner in China, ASPP company, is already mass producing electric motors DA90S and DA100S. So DA90S is the electric motor, which is used mainly in bicycles, in electric motorcycles, and in smaller vehicles, smaller cars, smaller electric cars, which can reach 80 kilometers per hour. And the larger motor, DA100S, is a larger motor which used by trucks, by small pickup trucks, vehicles, can be used by boats, by vehicles which need more power output. The both engines please be aware that they have already European certification. It means we can successfully, let's say, buy and sell it in European Union, in other countries, in India, in South America, in South Africa, in all the countries which mostly they accept European Union certificate, CE. Yeah. Our partner is Molnio company. They also used DA90S and DA100S motors. In Pikman car, for example, which was demonstrated also during last year conference in Moscow, and Rush electric bicycle with the motor DA90S. Our official representatives are two companies in Russia, STIAN and Molnio. And we have, as I mentioned, a partner producer, which is based in Weihai in China. This company is headed by Mr. Viktor Aristov, our partner, and they have very good, let's say, connection with local government, regional government in China, in Shandong, which gives them a good advantage because they have access to develop and further the company, production company, and also to have a good production base there in China right now. For this and other contacts, also the contact details available on our website, solargroup.pro. Right now, we can go into the second part and speak about the advantages of investment project, which is right now being developed by the company, and which is the next stage, let's say. The investment crowd investing project is distributed into 3 years. It has overall 20 stages, and it has like a milestone, $40 million amount which needs to be collected in order to complete the financing of the project. The first stage started in 2017. Right now we are in March 2020, and we already have stage 12. As you know, on 1st of April, we are going to switch to stage 13. So we are just several days left from stage 13. And we can continue. And this year is planned to finish with all the stages, so with 20 stages, after which, once the company has reached all the stages, has completed all the stages, and know how many pre-shares there are totally, it can open internal exchange, and internal exchange users and participants can use to sell and buy already existing pre-shares from one another between the partners, and the newcomer, for example, new investor will join after this 20 stage. It's also no problem because they can also buy already existing pre-shares from other partners. So it has a good, it's really good possibility for the partners to invest before the end of this stage 20, because they will be able to sell their shares in the internal exchange. What is actually the goal of attracting all these investments? Right now, the goal of attracting investments is to construct. This year is the first year of construction of engineering center in a free economic zone close to Moscow, Technopolis, Moscow. We have already signed an agreement last year to have rent of the land plot, to prepare all the documents. We prepared all the documents for construction of this engineering center. And right now, the government authorities are reviewing the documents about the construction. So we are now waiting just for the green light to start the construction. This is planned for this year. Right now, the company structure of Sovelmash is, for simplicity, we can check 3 main elements. First element is a stakeholder ACE and PP, who is the owner of the patents, who is our partner. It's the main company who holds all the contracts with licensees all over the world. Second part is 10.5% owned by management of the company, Sovelmash. And third part is actually 49.5%, the blue part, is the part of actually all the investors, co-investors in the company, which after the completion of the 20 stage will have this stake in the company Sovelmash. Because what will happen after the stage 20? After stage 20, all the pre-shares which investors have will be transformed into the shares of the joint stock company, which will be created, joint stock company Sovelmash. Because right now it's limited company, but after the completion of the financing, this limited liability company will be transformed into joint stock company, and the structure will remain the same. So 49.5% will be owned of the joint stock company will be owned by all of the investors. What company will make profit from? So the plan originally is we have actually several opportunities to make profit. First, from traditional production. First option is to make a small scale production first of the motors of some products which are required by clients, by customers in Russia and abroad. And after that, after the completion of our engineering center, we can switch to full scale production. Full scale production with large scale production with many quantities of units per year, for example, per month. And the second possibility or option is to develop a new type of electric motors just based on customer needs. So customer, for example, come into us and say, okay, we want to develop a new electric motors for our car, or for our electric car, or for our boat, or for our train, let's say. So Sovelmash company can take this contract and prepare from scratch a new type of electric motor. And after that, it can also provide the course training for the employees of this company, of this customer, saying, okay, we can just explain how you can produce this new type of product of this motor. And we will give you all the documents, certifications, and permits in order to produce these new electric motors. So there are several ways how the profit can be made. Let's say there is an idea that on average, such contract to develop from scratch a new type of electric motors can reach an amount of $50 million even. Because we've seen examples, for example, BMW to develop its new motor spent $30 million. Another company, Siemens, they spent for one of the motors, they spent just for development. Yeah, they spent just $300 million. So this amount is reasonable. It's, let's say, average on the market. So it's possible to obtain from 1 to 10 such contracts per year. So just by completing one contract per year, we will get or obtain all the amount which attracted from the investors. So we will cover that amount and we'll make some profit as well. What does investor get actually, and how his rights are protected? First of all, all investors have access to their personal page, to their back office on the site, where you can download the share certificate with your name, surname, and register number and amount of shares which you own. Yeah, and also you have investment agreement. Investment agreement has all the articles that you are the owner. You can keep your shares. You can give your shares to another person, sell it, or you can it can be inherited to your family, for example. This certificate you can also order be delivered at your home, to your office. If you want a paper format, it's also no problem. You have this option. Once the Sovelmash will become a joint stock company, of course, you will have another document as a confirmation that you are the owner of these shares in the new company, as it will be transformed to another joint stock company later on. How an investor can make profit? This is one of very, let's say, critical point for any investor. From where will be the profit? From where, how he can obtain surplus on his investment? First, an investor can wait till the end of stage 20 and sell, for example, his share in the internal exchange. This is option number one. Option number two, he can wait longer and wait till the shares will be converted to joint stock company and then will be listed on a stock exchange. So there is a good possibility and there is a good option that the share price will increase dramatically or increase several manifold in the once it will be listed. So on the open market, the share price, planned share price can be much more than it is now. So you can also have a profit from that while selling it, or you can keep the share longer and just get dividends on your shares after the first year of operation, after second year of operation, and so on. So each year, the plan is that board of directors of the new company will gather and say, okay, from this year, all the profit, or 50% actually of future profit, from that year, will go to dividends, to be distributed as dividends between investors. Many of you have heard, of course, the success stories of such giant companies as Microsoft, Apple, Alibaba, and Google. And beginning of this actual activity of these companies, they were all, believe it or not, they were all startups. They were all, let's say, new guys on the block. And once for the first investors, they had opportunity to join this company or to contribute to their success, while with opportunity with crowdfunding, for example. So when the company wanted to raise capital, it chose option to have crowdfunding. Why? Because you can have access to all the persons, and you don't need to choose just one company, 5 companies, or you can offer share of your company, small share of your company, to any person in the world, and they can support growth of your company at the initial stage. And as you can see, various companies just for 10 years, for 16 years, and so on, they grew significantly over the time. So if you purchased, let's say, Microsoft shares 10 years ago, now it's more than 47 times more the price share. So this could be an option also in this project. Right now, we are more than 2,000 participants from more than 116 countries in the world. We're organizing, of course, events, live events, online events, webinars, conferences to meet with the management of the company, to explain the news, of course, to have some updates, to share information, to have demonstration of the motors and so on, to have demonstration of the electric cars, electric vehicles, and to have a good time just to meet. So there's a great opportunity this year. Due to the situation in the world right now, we postponed some events to later months. Hopefully from the middle of the year, we can we can continue with our planned conference in Germany, in Berlin, and in other places too. We plan to organize the conference also in Latin America, maybe, as you have heard. It will be postponed at a later date. Please be updated with our news on back office. So we will let you know later stage when this event will be possible. And our team is always open for questions. Of course, we have chat, we have Skype, Telegram, and WhatsApp chats. We have IT support, which working almost for 24/7 in order to resolve your questions, your problems. And if you have any comments, of course, we'll be welcome to hear from you. The first investments which actually received by company, how it was spent, or let's say, or used. First, the equipment was purchased, some test bench equipment, some equipment for testing area, and laboratory equipment was purchased, and is now successfully being used by Solargroup laboratory. Our laboratory also attained last year the certification, which means that all the products, all the motors which are developed and then tested in the laboratory, it will be officially recognized by the authorities as the motor with official, let's say, tests done. So it's a really important document. Not all the companies which are production companies have this certificate for their laboratory. So this is another advantage. This is the physical location of the new engineering center, Zelenograd. It's on northwest of Moscow, just not far from Moscow. Here you can see also a registration certificate as a resident of Free Economic Zone in Technopolis, Moscow. And of course, the planned construction company which will help with construction of the center is Block from Czech Republic. We have already signed contract with that company to construct this newly developed engineering center. Here you can see just from a bird's fly view, just the land plot of 2.1 hectares. The construction was planned to start on first quarter. Of course, right now it's postponed to second quarter, but still we are planning as soon as we have green light from the authorities to begin this construction, even with this hard, difficult situation, which right now is in Moscow region too. Another advantage of this investment also is that the company, while having this land plot rent agreement, when all the construction is done, when it's ready, it can purchase this land plot, 2.1 hectares, from the authorities. And what would be the price of land? The price of land would be just 1% of normal land price in this area. So it's written in the contract. So this is a great advantage for our company, because while we will purchase with this land plot, it will remain on our balance sheet, and it will be additional, let's say, economic value for the company, and it can be sold or it can be rented. It can be used at a later stage. This is just 3D rendering of the innovative engineering center, which will be built. And yeah, now we can share our achievements. Is the new patents which we obtained, our development team. Each year we are visited by various companies from China, from India, from other parts of Russia. And we work closely with Weihai administration in partnership with company ASPP Weihai Technology. And we also started the mass production of electric motors there in China. And one of the news of March 2020 is that we actually shipped the first batch of motors, maybe you have noticed on our back office, to our Russian customer. And in April, the first batch of motors from Chinese company ASPP Weihai will be also shipped to Chinese customer. So this is the first orders which already have been successfully submitted to clients. It gets the first, let's say, official income of the company. Sovelmash and SPP way high. So this is a good sign in this economic situation, and going forward we have very positive outlook. Another advantage is that even with this hard economic situation with China and all the other companies that are now on pause or let's say temporarily in difficulties, the Slavyanka technology motor is using spare parts which are commonly available. So what does it mean? It means we don't rely on only one supplier from China or only one supplier from Europe or any other place, but we rely on common, let's say, suppliers which we can change or we can diversify, yeah, within several suppliers based in many locations. So we are less dependent on just one supplier, and it means we have more independency in production, more independency in using our technology, in developing new models, because we are much more flexible in this way to offer our product to the market. And this is really good advantage in the current situation. Here you can see the range of products from bigger motors used in heavy duty trucks to medium-sized motors and to smaller motors which can be used in bicycles and electric bikes. Here you can see photos of new partners and customers visiting from China, visiting from India last year. We already have several collaboration with such companies ongoing. For non-disclosure agreement, we cannot say the name of the company, but in the future, once it will be made public, then we'll of course let you know. Our project, in terms of investment project, crowd investing project, reaches many countries in the world. It reaches more than 116 countries. Half of investors come from Russia, about 50%, and another half spread all over the world. So we have many investors from India, from Vietnam, Indonesia, all other part of Asia, from Europe, from North and South America, of course from South Africa, and from other African countries. So the geography is really widespread. Our back office is now translated in more than 20 languages. Newly added language, for example, is Slovenian. And so we are very attentive to our partners and our investors throughout the world. So we try to adapt our back office, try to adapt our documents, our presentations. So when you participate as a partner or as investor, we'll always be on your side in terms of getting you access the documents in your native language. So it's easier for you to follow the news, to follow the developments. And right now, also we added the English-speaking webinars. I hope it will be on a stable basis, on a weekly basis, because our speakers also deliver updates once a week, once a month. In Russian, for example, also Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov gives updates once a week. And Russian-speaking speakers, they have webinars each time, once a week. And we'll try to keep you updated also now in English and in other languages to make a summary of what's happening, what are the news. So you'll have possibility both, if you don't want to listen to read the news, you can just listen to our videos with updates, with short updates. Right now, what's the important things for the going future? Of course, the health is, as we know, it's a very important issue. But after the health, of course, going forward is our financial independence. So how can you contribute to your financial independence today? Of course, you know that there are many assets which you can invest, but it takes resources, it takes money. And when a person plans his expenses, his or her expenses, he can just contribute smaller amount of money, for example, in this project, or you can consider that it's a long-term investment, a span of several years. We very confident this is one of the projects which you can use as a long-term, medium and long-term investments in order to secure your family's future, financial future, and financial stability for yourself and your close ones. So while investing today, you invest also in your future, in the development of your financial health, let's say. Here are the contacts of the company, Skype, link to Skype, and link to Telegram channel and Telegram chat as well, and email, of course, of our IT support. If you have questions, I give the floor now to Mr. Birdi, Mr. Ravindra Kumar also. And we can also open the floor for the questions which we have maybe in chat, right?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dimitri. And every partner in online chat and online with Facebook, but my English not good. I'm speak also in Italian and Hindi. I try to speak well my English, but I understand English. I am big problem in the speak. Okay, so I talk in Italian, and Mr. Dimitri in the translate some in English. Ok, ciao a tutti, grazie a tutti i partecipanti del nostro webinar in inglese e grazie anche a Dimitri e Ravindra Kumar. Grazie a voi che abbiamo organizzato questo webinar in inglese e saremo presenti anche le prossime settimane, anche fino al mese. News molto importanti della società. Grazie.
Mr. Birdi Gulshan Kumar is saying thank you very much for all our participants who joined us for this webinar, this live webinar. And he's just speaking in Italian and I'm translating into English for you. And we'll try and we will give you a regularly update in English, in Italian and English, about the news, important news happening in the company, happening for partners, happening for development of the project. Thank you very much for your participation, and we appreciate your attention. Yeah, Mr. Ravindra, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Dimitri, for giving us such a nice presentation here in English. And here I would like to request to everyone, if you have any doubt, so please ask any question and we will give you answers. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Dimitri. Thank you, Mr. Birdi.
Thank you, Ravindra. Thank you, Birdi. If you don't have any questions in chat, we can stop this transmission, yeah?
Ok, saremo prossima diretta presto. Cerchiamo di fare magari almeno 2 volte, una volta in settimana per i nostri partner anche Sudafrica and also in some states in India che parlano inglese anche in India. Per India anche altri stati che abbiamo tanta richiesta in inglese e cerchiamo di dare novità in inglese, italiano e hindi. Comunque possiamo anche chiudere chiedendo cosa dici a Dimitri.
Okay. Thank you very much for your attention. Mr. Birdi is also saying that next we'll give updates also for all our English-speaking investors, also for investors and partners from India, because some states in India, in some parts, they also use English as a main language of communication.
Okay.
There's a question, actually. Maybe I will stop.
Sì.
registration. Let 1 second.